Well, we're back for another edition of Woodsy's Footy Club Tour and got one of the biggest superstars to play NRL, one of my favourite players, and I've got to play with him a fair bit. Craig Inglis, how are you, mate?
Hey, Woodsy, how you going?
Good,
What is
brother.
it? What's it called?
Woodsy's Footy Club Tour.
Club tour.
Yeah, so we just get a couple of legends.
No, I like it.
Mate, in our case today, superstars.
It's got a good ring to it.
How are you, brother?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. Going good. Just travelling a lot, and last couple of weeks only been in town for a few days at a time. So I'm looking for.
So what's
looking for a good
been
rest.
keeping you busy, mate? What's been happening?
Just my Goanna Academy. It's only been busy the last couple of weeks because it's coming to the end of term 2, and a couple of schools have already started the programs that I started. So we run 5 different modules,
Yep.
and it's just coming towards the back end now. So it's only traveling for the last 3 weeks.
Are you only doing that in Sydney, or are you traveling?
No, traveling all over Australia at the moment, but majority of it's at the moment with the schools in New South Wales. So just finished casino yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Katie was up there,
man.
but not for us, because we got him on as an ambassador, and he went up there for NAIDOC week and did the talk to the assembly in Casino High, and was trying to work it out so where he can stay and just do a session with us, but no, he had to get back for footy, so
A bit busy, and he's
busy, mate.
Are they fine at the moment?
Well, mate, the thing is, I was on Matty John's show I think 2 weeks ago, and I said on the show is that they just look fit.
Yep.
Where the start of the season, they just look, obviously injury toll and all that their stuff, and and they're just hitting the straps at the right time. So
What about Latrell? Like he cops a lot of flack. Like
He does.
You've been in those shoes before.
He does, but
because you're so. I don't know. How would you say he's not a polarizing figure, but he's just such a.
he's a big figure of our game.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a draw card.
Oh, massively.
He's a draw card of our game, and not many people have that. About him. Nathan Cleary's another one.
Yep.
And but in saying that, I think the way Latrell should, I said this to him and said, just stay off social media for a bit. Don't put it out. Just go about your business. But he's so strong in his opinions and that's what you want from players. You want players to speak their truth, right?
Yeah, like being a Queenslander, obviously it would have hurt the other night, but were you happy for him?
Oh, mate, extremely happy.
Yeah.
And that's probably one thing that Queenslanders didn't want was seeing him in the side.
Yeah.
And it took him a bit to warm into their game, but it's just the way the game went in the first 20 minutes, mate.
Mate, it's like if you missed the jump, you missed the jump.
But look, Latrell got in there, and he's Latrell, so he's always going to be a danger if he touch the ball or not.
Oh, mate, he's a freak, and I was just happy for him because he's copped a lot of flack, especially as of late, and then to turn around and see what he's done. Mate, talk about yourself. I did a little bit of research on you. Your first contract was with the Raiders. Is that right?
No, it wasn't with the Raiders. No, Raiders tried to poach me.
Oh, tried to poach you.
Yeah, they tried to poach me. No, I agreed to terms at 14 with Melbourne Storm.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, and at the same time there was,
so Canberra
there was
were
Raiders chasing me
Wow.
as well, and it was so I agreed to terms with Melbourne, and yeah, it was just. But no, it's definitely close to being Raiders.
Wow. So, and then with the Storm, who poached you from? Was it
It was,
Sully?
Peter Sullivan.
Wow.
He poached me, and then I think he moved on to the Dragons after that.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he poached Israel Folau too. He's poached
wow.
Izzy as well.
So he's got a little bit of a couple of good players.
Look, he's great at his job. He's
Yep.
great at being a recruitment officer. You can see talent and
Yep.
all that there stuff. So, I think he just moved on because he wanted to come back to Sydney and be close to home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then, so speaking to us, so when you did get poached by the Storm, was that when you were at Hunter, and then they moved you up to Queensland, or was that before?
No, that was beforehand. So I played at under 15s comp.
Yep.
I think I was about 14, and I was 14, and I was playing under 15s comp over in Port Macquarie in the rep side. And Sully comes over and has a chat to me dad, and I'm just oblivious. Like I don't care. When you're a kid, you just love playing footy. You just go around, and I'm sitting there watching the older games and like that. And as he walked past, I said, "Dad, you know that guy?" He was like, "No, yeah." So we just had a chat, and I was like, "About what?" Just a kid,
So
He goes, "Oh, he's the card," and I said, "Melbourne Storm." And I looked at him and was like, Melbourne Storm.
Yep.
And he was like, "Yeah." And I said, "Look, like Robbie Kearns, Robbie Ross, like that Melbourne Storm." He was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh, this is awesome."
So it all just started from that.
Yeah, it's all started from like that, and then And then I signed with Alan Gainey, and the reason I went with Alan Gainey as a manager is because what he did with Preston Campbell.
Yep.
So he was Preston's.
So he was Preston's at the time, okay.
And he was Preston's my dad's cousin and that. So
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So tight next to the family, and so we just stayed in. And that's the reason why I went there. Preston rang Dad up and just told him what Alan was like, and yeah.
And so when did you move to Brisbane?
I moved to Brizzy, so I moved to Newcastle. My birthday's in January, so 15 years of age, I was playing back home for Barraville.
Yep.
And then I went down to Newcastle into that year, and I went down there just to, one, because I found out how far Melbourne was. I didn't want to go.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So do you want to go straight away?
No, I didn't want to go straight away. I just wanted to be around home a bit more. But I was like, I'm going to, get out of my comfort zone and go to Newcastle. And I went to Newcastle and we lived in this hostel, and I tried to get with Newcastle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, wanted to try and sign with Newcastle Knights.
How was that as a 15-year-old living in a hostel?
Mate, it was fine. But I've seen Newcastle as a big city.
Oh, because you're from Barraville.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
So,
what was it like when you did get to the big city?
Oh, mate, it was like, it was weird. It was just weird. Like, I just didn't know how to cope, didn't know how to think. But I had good people around me.
Yeah.
I had great people around me all the way through my life. So, except for Newcastle, cousins that kind of led me astray, got in a bit of trouble, and I just said, I need to get out. Melbourne found out anyway what I was doing. They said, "Oh, mate, you need to go home."
Yeah. So did they send you to Brisbane?
Yeah. So I went down there as a 16-year-old doing a 2-week preseason camp. I lasted 3 days.
Really?
Yeah, mate. Craig told me to get the hell out of his face.
No way.
Yeah. It was good though, because it taught me, like, if you want something, there's the hard work that's got to be paid into it. I stayed there for the rest of the week though, just doing what I could do, mate. Yep. And then from that there, they sent me up to Brizzy then live with the Coolwell family.
Oh, who's that? Who are they?
They are a family who got really strong ties with North Devils at the time.
Yep.
And North Devils was a feeder club.
Do they still have ties with them now? Or?
No, I think it's Brisbane's North.
Oh, okay, yep.
Brisbane and North Devils now, and it might be Redcliffe Dolphins.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, mate, they
got
swap and change. They swap and change. It's like a few years ago, you get North Bears feeder club. It was Melbourne Storms feeder club.
Oh, mate, you
and
can't.
I don't even know who it is now.
No,
it's South.
I'm with you.
Yeah, because I've seen.
Well, South's with the Blackhawks. Townsville.
Mate, I don't even know.
Oh, mate. But then I remember actually, because they used to play one Queensland Cup game on Fox Sports all the time. Yeah. I remember watching you I think he scored 3 tries.
Yeah, well, I went up there and lived with them, and he was it actually worked out well because he was officer and he worked at the watch house in Roma Street.
Oh, yeah.
And mate, he took me in there one day, and I shit myself. I absolutely shit myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did not. I looked around, just looked at like all different there's people of the night, and I was just like, I don't want to be in this situation whatsoever. So changed the way I thought and changed the way I went about it.
So it just opened your eyes to what?
Yeah.
You could go one way or the other.
Yeah, and I was at that point too.
How old were you? Were you 17, 18?
Yeah, 17 then.
Yeah,
17.
Wow.
So I was, like I said, I was 16. Went down to Melbourne. I was in 16 in Newcastle playing for West Rosellas, and then ended up going down to Melbourne, and then from there, 17 years age, I was living up in Brizzy.
Wow. But talk to us about your time at North Devils. Did you spend much time there?
I played there for about 2 years.
Yeah?
Yeah, I played there 17 under 19s Colts.
Yep.
And then the following year, I got asked to stay in Melbourne.
Yep.
So this is what I mean. It's like probably the best thing that Craig ever did to me.
Yeah.
And, said these choice words. And then, it just changed the way I thought. And I was like, wow, I just need to get back on track here. So the following year at 17, he asked me to stay down there full time.
Oh, wow.
And then back then, I'm not sure if they do it now, but say we played on a Sunday.
Yep.
In North, and we stay down there, train all week.
Mm-hmm.
Fly out on a Saturday for captain's run.
Yep.
Fly in the captain's run and then play the game. It was 3 o'clock kickoff. And then straight on the plane back.
Oh, really? So you didn't get to enjoy it with the boys afterwards?
No, mate. And you know what? If the boys had to train, if the first grade squad had to train, if they played on a Saturday and they recovery Sunday, when we played North Queensland Cup on the Sunday, we would have to go and do recovery and then help train the boys on the
there's
Monday.
nothing worse, is there?
Mate, well, you just do your time.
But you learn,
You just do your time.
Exactly. I agree with that. Like,
You know?
that's so your apprenticeship.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
just come through the grades and you just shut up and do your job. Just shut up and just go. Like, who am I at like a 17, 18 trying to tell, you know, Matty Guy and those boys. Matty Orford was there at the time.
Orford,
imagine coming in and telling them, Scotty Hill.
They would have said to send you back to North, mate.
Mate, I remember Matt Guy put this prank on me. He goes, all right, kid, because he still calls me kid. He goes, all right, kid, go and go. We travelling. I was 18th man or something like that. He goes, all right, kid, go pick up our bags and put them on the bus.
And you just did it?
I just did it. Didn't even ask.
Yeah.
Didn't even say. Didn't even fight back. Like, I looked at him and I was like, is he having a go at me?
Yeah, you get a bit.
Anyway, I grabbed his bags. And the boys just started pissing themselves laughing. I was like, oh, no, he's got me.
Could you imagine doing that this day and age to the young blokes?
Oh, mate, there was too much voice.
Yeah, way too much voice, eh?
But again, Woodsy, like we grew up in a different era, and you know, I'm glad that we did because it shapes, you know, the way you go through grade.
Yeah, well, I think it's more respect. You know, you respect your elders. It's not just given to you.
Yeah, no.
You know, and like you said, we're just little puppets in, what they need to do. And if they need to train hard on a Monday and you've played Sunday, well, that's what you got to do.
We'll go in and do our recovery and then, we'll do our stretches and that. We wouldn't do the whole session.
Yeah.
We'll just, Craig would get us off to the side and do our skills and that. And, at the time we had Dean Lance as our defensive coach down there.
Yep.
And, he was really good. But sometimes when your body's that sore from playing the game before, he did not care. It was like, mate, we're coming in here, we're doing a bit of wrestling, a bit of soft techie and all that there stuff, and off to the side. And when Craig wants you out there to run against them, it's like get in there. Yeah. So you just don't look again. You don't ask questions. You just do it.
That's it. You just become accustomed to it as well, and that's the culture that they create. Yeah. No sooks. But one thing I'd love to know. Talk to us about a Craig Bellamy preseason. What was that like for a young bloke like yourself?
Man, it's like you're going in the army camps, and as a young kid. I didn't go on my first one, and because I was had injury and that, and I wanted to go, but at the time I was like, better just stay back and do the proper treatment. And I said, "What can't I go?" It's like, mate, there's no treatments out there. Where you going?
3-day camps or?
Yeah, well, back then it was about 4 to 5 days, and I think he's locked it back. Right, Hoffy's got a good story because Craig gets everybody that's near the club or somebody, and it doesn't matter if you're older or not, and you haven't done a pre-season like army camp, you go.
So say if I signed out at 33, you got to do army camp.
You can do it. Yeah, because Hoffy did it. Like Hoffy was there, and then he went overseas. He signed overseas.
Yep.
And then when he came back,
he made him do it again.
Yeah, he did it again. So. Mate, but again, it goes back to, this is our standards. This is our culture. Doesn't matter if you've done it, it's like you're going again.
I remember Willie Chambers was telling me there was one where, because the new blokes would all do it and the young kids, and then the older blokes were going to go away on a leadership group. And they come in, and then apparently all the staff, all the army guys down the front, like, who's going on the camp? And all the young blokes put their hand up, and then the old blokes didn't. And he goes, I'll ask you one more time, who's going on the camp? And then all the young blokes put up, and he goes, you blokes at the back, put your freaking hand up. You're coming as well. You're not going on some leadership piss-up trip. You're coming. And I think Hoffy was involved in that as well.
Mate, I remember chatting with Hoffy afterwards, like a few weeks later, and when we caught up, when we played him, he was like telling me, I said, you poor soul.
You couldn't think of anything worse. Because like, I don't mind the training, the wrestling, but army camps, man, they
Mate, I haven't done army camp in like long time between pre-seasons, and then because when they do it, they normally do it before Chrissy.
Yep.
And I'll come back in January because of rep. You go on tour.
Well, the whole crew of you. Yeah.
And then when Madge took over up here at South, he rang me up, and this is 2012. He rang me up and asked me to come back. I said, mate, I'm just going on holidays. Like, I'm in no shape whatsoever.
And you know how hard they are.
Mate, and I knew what was happening. It was here in Sydney. I knew, like, straight away. It was like, this ain't going to be pretty whatsoever. It was like, you want me to come back and set the standards? Yeah, Croc's coming back, all the Kingies coming, we're all, all the old boys.
They didn't play for Australia.
Mate, I'm like, mate, I'm up in Brizzy. I'm having a good time. And, my off season's my off season. I like to, get away. Get away. But, I said, mate, I'll come back. Mate, it was the worst one I've been on.
Really?
Yeah, I think Nathan Peets and a couple of other boys had to pretty much carry me out one day.
There's nothing worse.
Mate, I was in no shape
But these blokes
whatsoever.
have already
But I
done 6
came good.
weeks.
But I came good by the second day. I had to get the first one down the road.
Oh, that's it. You know, the old blokes, they don't experience. You don't get through it.
Mate, it was I dead set was doing those push-ups and sit-ups in the water as a chain. And I swear to God, I just laid there while the waves were just crashing over me. Mate, I was in the worst shape possible.
Are you happy where you are now? You don't have to do that. Don't have to think of an army camp
mate,
anymore.
I don't go to gym. I don't train. I just
really?
I don't do anything.
So you just enjoy yourself.
Yeah,
Man.
mate. I just watch what I eat and just stay off the piss as much as I can. You know.
Yeah, that's the biggest killer.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Well, I still like to go down to the pub and like watch a footy and
Yep.
with my mates and that and have a beer, but.
Yep.
You know, I've got to a stage now where I can actually sit there and have a drink until I can actually drive.
Did you find that hard, like that transition when you first moved from rugby league when you retired?
I did, man. I
Yeah.
struggled.
Yeah.
Struggled massively. You know, in clubs and that, you know, especially South, they said, "Oh, yeah, we'll keep you around the club, and you know, you can help out with our pathways coming through." And
Yep.
I said, "Yeah, no worries in that there," but yeah, it really struggled. It's like you're missing something.
Yep.
Like you're missing that high that you normally get from training and doing that for so long. And it was it was a year into it, and then it all fell apart.
Oh, really?
But then I just put my hand up and went and got help.
So was that how did you realise that you needed the help? Like a lot of blokes, like a lot of us sort of guys, think we don't want to ask questions. We feel like we're big softies.
Nah, man. Exactly. Like you don't want to do it because again, you're just growing up around that era and you know in the blokes environment.
That's it.
But if you really got a really close teammate that that you share rides with, and go to each other's houses, family grows up together. You know, there's what's wrong with asking them for help, but you know, there's phone numbers and that you can ring up.
Yep.
That the club can provide,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that's all highly confidential.
Yep.
You know, but your biggest one is you don't want to go to somebody and talk to somebody and they use that against you.
Yep.
You know, I think that's our biggest fear is
that's it,
people
isn't it?
turning around and using it against you or being more judgmental towards how you're feeling and that.
I think it's just insecurity, isn't it? Like people just think, oh, I'm softy because I've asked for help.
Yeah. No, mate, males are the most ones that are affected.
Yeah.
So...
Have you spoke to many ex-players that have been in certain situations like yourself?
Yeah, well, when we cross paths and that, it's like, oh, how did you go after?
Yep.
It's like struggled and all that there. You know, there has been, especially in the last couple, well, we'll say from last year, there's been a few ex-players and that come out and just when we cross paths.
Yep.
It's like, mate, have you struggled? I said, I'll just be honest. It's like, yeah, absolutely I have.
It wouldn't be easy because you're in that environment in the change rooms. That's what I reckon is going to hurt me the most is when you do move on because you know what the banter's like in the sheds. You don't have that anywhere
You
else.
don't have that. And if you go in the coaching role, well, then they see you as a coach.
You got to be a bit more serious.
You got to be more serious.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be more serious
Well,
than
that's
that.
it, eh?
But yeah, no, I think if you ever go and move into coaching, add that serious side to it. But be assertive with what you want from your players.
Yeah. Well, then we speak about your coaching, right? You've had Craig Bellamy. What was the culture like down at the Storm? You know, you've been at two big, powerful clubs in Storm and South. How was it when you first come through there? Like,
well, I didn't know anything different.
yeah,
And it really hit me that Melbourne's a lot like just a different beast altogether, different club.
yeah,
Even from the people behind the closed doors, the kick guy, like we're all involved, and they all want to do what's best for the club. It's, it's the culture that they built, and I didn't really realise that until I actually came to South,
okay,
and just in a total different shock, like different culture, and I was just blown away by it. I was like, well, actually, the players that's gone down there through the time from Sydney clubs, and they come out and say, oh, this club's different.
Yep.
It's just a better culture from the previous clubs. And I always thought they was talking shit, because they were there.
yeah, you just didn't know.
Didn't know. And then all of a sudden, I'm out South Sydney, and I was like, actually, I know what they're talking about now.
Yeah.
But no, it was after Madge took over the job, well, then he sort of brought that good culture and structure back.
Do
the South.
Do you think it's a lot different because it's a one-town team and you're tucked away down there?
No, I think what really set it up was, the the OGs, the original
Yep.
players, the original squads, and the original,
So who were those
coaches
sort of
and
blokes?
that. That was Tarira Nikau was
Oh, yeah,
one.
yep.
Yeah.
Lazo,
yeah.
was he?
Lazo.
Yep.
Yep. Well, he's had his other. He had
Brett Camorley was there for
yeah,
a bit.
it was. So you had Lazo, Richard Swain,
Oh, yep.
Robbie Ross. You know, you had the
Yeah.
Matt Guy who came. I think Matty Guy came from Perth. I think he came from
Yeah,
Reds.
he did too, didn't he? Yeah.
Him and Mark
Yeah.
was over there playing. I think he came from there and had his shot down in Melbourne. And
Yep.
who else was there? Books.
Yeah, Brooks was there.
Steve Kearney was there. So you know they've had this really strong. Well, you had rep players there already.
Yep.
They all just came together and they all, you know, just had said, all right, we're down here, we're going to make this work and this is how we're going to live it. And since that day and, you know, from those original players,
Yep.
you know, it's just lasted.
What about the one I love? Cameron Smith, Billy Slater, Cooper Cronk. What was it like to play those blokes?
Oh, you know, Cam's...
Because they're all different, aren't they?
Yeah, Cam's like, mate, he still could have played on,
Yeah,
I reckon. But
easily.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that is just really footy smart.
Yep.
Like, when it comes to reading the game management, and Cooper's very articulate in how he wants to play the game. You know, you see him do video, and he can just like pinpoint different things, and then Buddy will go back and just want to make sure everything's to the T. And then what you see with Bill is what happened. What happened with Bill was, I think his first 2 years down there, he had surgery on both his groins. He had
really?
pubis, so he was out for a year or maybe a year and a half. And that year and a half, he just really went in and sat down with our video guy and really understood the game. Really understood. So yeah, he was he crafted his stuff just doing video.
So was he like a footy nut or just?
Yeah, end up becoming a footy nut. Yeah.
Wow.
But you know he's so those guys were looking at the 1%, and you look at Bill, and he's like pinpointing the 0.1%.
Yeah. So
and then you put all those three in the mix, right? It's just.
So what would a video session be like for you, Greg? Because
mate, I used to fall asleep.
Like,
Mate, I was young, and you know, energy levels go. And
some of the players you had in there, like, would Craig do much, or was it run by the
no,
boys?
Craig would do much. Yeah, and then when the boys, you know, and mate, Craig did not care if you played 400 games, whatever. He'll point you out. In the group. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, this ain't our standards. Like, this is it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he goes, and then, so when you're going in the video rooms, mate, you look up and it's like, if your name's on the board, it's like, oh shit, what have I done? What's this one?
Do you remember a famous spray from him or anything for yourself or for anyone else in the side?
I think it was, a game I was playing after Origin.
Yeah.
And you know, you back up after Origin. Some days you just don't want to be there.
You've had a few beers after Origin.
Yeah, you just don't want to be there. And
and
Craig was like, it's like, mate, just sprayed me. It was like, if you don't want to be here, this at half time. If you don't want to be here, pack your shit. And see his choice of words. He goes, I'm not dealing with it, mate. Yeah. So that was one of the biggest ones I reckon I got from him through a game.
Yeah. There's nothing worse than, especially in front of all the boys.
Yeah.
When you know you've had a bit of a shocker and then he just doubles down.
Yeah, just doubles down on it. And so, yeah, it turned my attitude around. I think it was against New Zealand Warriors over there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
that's hard to get up for those games too, some of them over there.
Mate, imagine playing now. They black out the stadium with flames.
You know what, but
you know how intimidating that is?
It's pretty cool, but yeah.
It's awesome.
It's something in one aspect it's mad for them. Yeah. But in other sides, when you go there, it's a mad experience. Yeah. It's like you want to be a part of it.
It's like why couldn't you do that when I was playing? Mate,
you know, we play on a Saturday night, it's pouring down rain.
Mate, it was cold.
Every time you go to New Zealand.
It was cold. It was like just a bit of the drizzle around, and it's like it's hard to get up for those games anyway when you go there. But they're the games you want to play.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you love the crowd. Like the crowd's just amazing. The atmosphere over there, what they created.
You know they've sold out every time this year.
Yeah,
it's so good, man. So good for us.
And then all of a sudden I'm out playing Origin, traveling over there, and I'm like. Yeah,
sore, Craig.
got a massive spray, and so that was an interesting one.
And what about when you got your debut in 2006? How did you find out? Do you remember the moment finding out? Because it's a lot different back then to now. They sort of film it with all the kids now.
Yeah, no, I think it was in video, and mate, I was 18th at the time.
Oh, really? Yeah.
19th man. Yep. So I wasn't anything, and then it only happened that a captain's run.
Oh, okay.
Jake Webster, something happened with Jakey Webster. I think he's done his ankle or something at training, and then all of a sudden it's, Greg, you're getting your debut this.
No way.
Yeah, debut tomorrow night.
A lot different.
Oh, he might have done it. He may have done it like 2 days out
Yep.
before game. And then, yeah, so because, they flew me brother down, my younger brother, flew me dad and flew me pop down. So,
How was that? Was that unreal? Like,
mate, it was a mixed bag for me that night. We played Parramatta, we lost. But, yeah, it was, when you're coming in and you just want to go out there and do your job. And I think it just went so quick, so fast, But it was a mixed bag for me. It was like a couple of good things, but you just learn on the run.
Oh, 100%.
Because you're a rookie, like you're making your debut and you're playing against highly experienced guys.
Especially Parramatta, they were pretty good
They
at
were
that
good
stage,
Yeah.
They should have won the comp the year before. That was their
I
comp to lose.
don't say it, mate, Hiney.
Hey, we won't get involved in that. Sorry, Hindy. And then one thing I'd love to know is, like, you've played a few positions. What's GI's favourite position?
Well, it all depends, right?
Yep.
Like, I like, in rep footy, I love centre.
Yep.
Because I love the physical contact and we want to play against, our best centres in the world. And at Clubland, I was happy to do my job at fullback.
Yep. And you've also won a Clive Churchill at 5'8".
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Our experience down there out in Melbourne, when Craig came up with his idea, he goes, "Oh, well, I want you handling the ball a bit more. I want you, being more involved." But that really gave me a better understanding of the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Playing, being close to the ruck and reading the game and learning off Coops. And,
Yeah.
Before that, there was Scott Hill was, departing us. And, so just learning a few things of those guys.
I remember we played in England. We played at that Millennium Stadium, and it was just like we packed a scrum, and we put you on the short side. It was 10 metres out. I've never seen it. You're like that big kid in under sixes. And we just go, let's just give GI the ball here, see what happens. Right hand fan, boom, scored under the post. It was the best ever. It was so good, mate.
But yeah, those I love the physical side of it in rep.
Yeah.
So I like being in the front line, and Clubland is like, transform my body back into being a bit lighter, a bit slimmer, so I can run around a bit more in fullback.
Well, what was why the physicality in Repland? Did you just want to?
I don't know. I just loved it.
Yeah. The bigger the game, the more Greggy comes out.
I don't know. I just love the contact. I love.
What about
rep games? Because you're playing against the best.
Yeah, that's it.
And you want to know where you stand. So.
What about the right hand fend? Like, that was scary.
And I
hated it.
I think it just came from not being tackled as a kid. Because when you're a kid, you find anything to play with. A boot.
Yep.
2-litre Coke bottle or 1.25 Coke bottle that's empty. You just find a thing. And then, mate, we used to play on roads. We used to play on bitumen. And I always played with older cousins. Always played with older family members. And man, that was just rough. Like, they did not care. So then, when you get hurt or you start crying, they'll run over and go, "Shh, don't tell mum. don't tell your mum. No, otherwise you're not playing with us again."
Oh,
so you just suck it up.
Just keep going.
Yeah, I think I just didn't like getting tackled as a young kid. So,
but the ones that I remember the most is probably the Wolfman and Stevie Turner. Were you playing with Steve Turner at that time?
I was. Yeah. At that time I was, and then he shifted off to Dogs.
How was he when you got back to?
Oh mate, well this is the thing. We never spoke about it.
Oh really?
Never spoke Origin.
Never.
No, never brought it up. Never did any of that.
If that happened, I wouldn't try. I'd try not to do that too.
Right, like we'll probably say. I think some of the boys will probably say something in a smart ass way and
just pump it up.
And just but mate, in Melbourne and even in South and that, we get back when, that's different. Clubland's different.
Talk to us about your Queensland, right? Barraville.
Yeah, what about it?
Is that in Queensland or New South Wales?
It's an island that can move around.
Oh, it's the funniest thing, mate. So
well, this is the funny thing, right? Because back then they gave us like a piece of paper like this, and they said, "All right, if you was to represent your state, if you ever get selected for Origin, what would you choose?
Yep.
Who would you choose?" And at this time, I was living in Brizzy.
So you said,
and I felt connected. I felt like I was living in the Corbell family, and they were like became my family, and it was like. So I had that sense of connectedness, and I felt like I belong up there. And at this time, I was playing 19s reps, schoolboy reps, all for Queensland. So I was like, well, yeah,
And
naturally.
then, how was it when you got your first maroon jersey?
Mate, I was shitting myself.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I was
Because you were
fronting up.
only 19 or something, weren't you?
Yeah, I was 19.
Yeah.
And
So you basically played 1 year first grade and then straight into...
yeah, it wasn't even that. I only played like 12 games.
Wow.
In 05, 2005, and then 06 came around, and I only played one game that year. Ended up doing me back, and ended up with 2 structure fractures in my back. So yeah,
Yep.
from that there, I missed the rest of the series. But Mal got me in the third game, and which was in Melbourne, which was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, at
that was the start of the streak too. That game, wasn't it?
Well, this is another story, right? It's Lockie, Pricey, Petro, like all the older heads. Yeah, they had their heads on the board.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if they wasn't on, because we was coming on the back end of three straight.
Too. Yeah, well, that's right.
And Lockie was going to lose the captaincy. Petro was going to be
You're kidding.
Yeah, so they had all the pressure on them, all that their stuff. So yeah, coming in 06, it was. Yeah, so that was the most defining moment.
So you've come into a decider.
Mate, I just came, and I didn't know any different, right?
No wonder why you're shitting yourself.
Well,
Jesus.
No, I came in game 1.
Oh, game 1, sorry, yep.
Game 1 in Sydney, and, mate, Mal wanted to rotate Billy and I. Billy go the wing and I go fullback throughout the game, and it was like, just shut up, just do your job.
Yeah, that's it, just do what you're told.
But, mate, it was a massive build-up, and I didn't really understood how much of a beast it is.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody will, unless you're a part of it, being in those camps, being in those games.
They're the best 10 days of your life,
I reckon. You can't explain it. It's just a totally different beast, and it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger and better over the last couple of years.
So speak to us about those leaders. What was it like after that game 3 when Lockie takes that? It was like a loose pass on the ground.
Yeah. I think Hodgson's Fraser were a ball, and it just sort of
oh, mate.
ends up bouncing, and then Lockie pounces on it, and then you see big Tunzi just come over and just tackle Lockie always on the ground.
It's the biggest thing I've seen Tunzi do. He can put big hits on.
Right, so seeing that there, well, I think it's just defined what Origin was about, and what Queensland was about. I think we were down 14 points.
Yeah, he was.
With 5 minutes to go or something like there, and then we was Then I think what really turned around was JT making that break and giving it off to Tatey.
It goes length.
Yeah.
Because I think the same game was sort of like Eric Grove ran away early in that game, didn't he?
Well, then I think we had a FU attitude because Adam Mogg was playing.
Yeah, he was too.
And he's the one who made his debut, and I think he scored the 2 tries.
He got double,
Yeah, and he, so we was like, everyone's saying, who are you? What are you? But yeah, it's, I think having him in the side and seeing that there, it shows how good of leaders can actually be.
Yep.
To a person.
Was that Mal's first year as coach?
Mal's first year as coach.
So he goes on to win 8 in a row.
Yeah, he goes on for that there.
That's just incredible, isn't it?
But you pick good players. Well, then they'll run the side.
Yep.
They'll make sure the players are fine.
Yep.
Mal was there as a player manager.
Mm-hmm.
He'll get the boys fired up, but also knows how to relax them and just manage the individuals. But yeah, when you get really good, strong, quality leaders in a squad, which is why I think the Australian side's been so really good in the last couple of years, just because leaders.
Well, do you remember when we had that meeting up in Newcastle? And he just changed it. So we've gone from Tim Sheens as coach to Mao.
Yeah.
And his first thing was piss off the Queensland, New South Wales
shit. You just don't do it.
And I'd never had anything to do with Mao before, and just.
Mate, I just never. Well, when I was coming in and playing for Oz, I never thought like that there anyway.
Yeah, same, mate.
It's you're in there, you're wearing an Australian jersey. You're not wearing blue or maroon.
No, that's it.
And that's it. That's the way I always saw it.
I remember I was like a kid, mate. I was like talking to blokes like yourself and Cameron Smith and even to the likes of Corey Parker, and I was like, wow, look at these guys, man.
You just get in there, you just, you don't do anything.
Well,
They don't mention any of that shit.
Oh, no, not at all. I think we were, like, New South Wales people probably a bit dirty because they could never win a series, and that used to just frustrate them.
Yeah.
And to see how relaxed you boys were, it was like, geez, you guys are just like normal people.
Yeah.
Which you are.
There's no arrogance.
Yeah,
There's nothing about it.
One thing I'd love to know, so you've had Mao at Queensland, and then I think you had Sticky as Aussie coach.
Sticky as Aussie coach.
What was he like? Because he's a very passionate.
Mate, he was awesome.
Yeah.
He was awesome, yeah. Coming in and, first year is... first couple of years had Sticky, and mate, he was unbelievable. Hard.
Yep.
But passion.
Yeah.
Passion, yeah. It was he was great. He just had that sense of belief of, stick to the process no matter what goes on. If you keep doing it, well then you get the rewards.
One thing I loved too with Sticky, the centenary test. That moment when you set up that try for Gaz.
Oh, yeah. That one.
Unbelievable.
Mate, yeah. It's weird because
is that like
it's just natural. It's just natural instinct.
Oh, mate.
That's what it was. It was like I didn't even know what a dead ball line is. Mate, I would have looked like an idiot if my foot was over, right?
But you did so well, mate. Like it's just, and Gazzy just picks up the. Yeah. He does all the easy work, and then he gets applauded for it. But you do all the tough stuff.
I said on here on one of the shows on here, and mate, Gaz taught me a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, he schooled me in Origin one year. Yeah. Absolutely demolished me.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, all right. I was like, wow, I'm not going to let this ever happen again.
Yeah.
So I just, made sure,
so it was a bit of a challenge early on. That,
mate, he absolutely schooled me. Like, you got to remember, he was the best.
Oh, he was a beast, wasn't he? The shimmy.
Yeah. It was like, well, when I came through, you had Matt Cooper, Justin Hodges, Willie Tonga, Jamie Lyon, Mark Gaznia.
Good crew, yeah.
Yeah, so that was the centers of centers.
Yep.
So I had to come up against them.
Yeah.
And
the thing for you, which would have been hard, was that you were playing fullback, you were playing 5'8", like you weren't even playing centre every week.
Nah, I was going. I think Craig was trying to figure out where to put me best. Winger, centre. Yeah, so mate, I remember a game in Melbourne. We played in Melbourne, and our boys like Dallas Johnson and a couple of other boys was getting head knocks. And,
really?
Yeah, and they go off, and I ended up in the back row.
You kidding?
No, not kidding. End up in the back row.
How'd you go?
For about 10 minutes, mate. I was blowing. I was like, get me out of here. It's like, get me out of here. I don't want to be here.
Get me out of the wash machine.
Yeah, get me out of here. It's like just constant grinds. Like,
so when you said, with Gaz, like you learn a lot, did you pick his brain when you were in Aussie camp with him?
Yeah, well, he was my partner.
Yep.
Like he was my roomie.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, he was my roomie. So it's like just ask him, just watching. You sit back and you mind these great players, and I was never jealous of them. I was never jealous. I always wanted to learn.
Yep.
And I wouldn't go ask them like things. I'll just sit back and just watch and try and mirror a few little things.
Crazy, eh?
Yeah. Like Hodjo, like with Hodjo's in his right foot step, it's coming.
Mate,
but you just can't stop it.
You know how many times in Origin would do tape? All right, when Hodges goes to marker, to dummy half,
he's got to run.
He's going to run, and he's got a good right foot and a fend.
Mate,
he still couldn't stop it.
No, you just can't. There's some players that you just can't.
Exactly.
And with Gaz, it was even harder because he could step off both.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he could do the shimmy and step off both. And Willie Tonga had the best feet back then.
Oh, unbelievable. It was like he could step in air.
Yeah, he had the best feet back then. He was unreal.
So smooth.
Jamie Lyon was like, he was just like a little pit bull, just constant.
Just at ya?
Just at ya, and then he's got the skill. He
was like a 5'8", wasn't he?
Yeah, he was like pretty much the centre that brought in the kicking for centres.
You don't realise how many great centres there was, wasn't it? At that period, we were blessed, weren't we?
All coming through, yeah.
That's crazy. And then 2009, mate, you get the Golden Boot Award. That's the best player in the world.
Yeah.
Like, did you feel that coming or?
No way. I think 2009 was probably one of my best years that I had. And I don't know what it was, maybe because I was probably cemented down my position, week in, week out. And I don't know, it was just one of those. And then we had the Four Nations tournament over in England in 2009. And it was, I don't know, it was just one of those years that it just felt like, when you have a good year, you just had a good year.
Everything just happens for you, doesn't it? No sprays from Bellamy that year?
I don't know, there's always a few. There's always going to be a few. There's always some.
And then obviously we're going to talk about the negative, the salary cap.
Yeah.
How did you find out? Like, did you just get wind that was going to be coming?
Mate, I was in there doing, I I was doing rehab,
Yep.
and I was doing cardio on the exercise bike, and all of a sudden, I was just about. Oh, actually, I was just about to start, and I get messages and
Yep.
phone call. It was like, oh, it's broken all over the news. The boys are out warming up.
Oh, really?
And I was in just out Princess Park in Carlton, and I was downstairs.
Yep.
Me and a few other boys, and just before we started, it was like, it's like, nah. I was like, no. It's like, what are you talking about? It's
Yeah.
like, it's bullshit. It's a made up story.
Yep.
Mate, next thing you know, boys are coming back in, the squad's coming back in. We had this
wow.
meeting, and it's like, gosh,
It's
it was
exactly-
like how? Like how? Because this is where another thing where the fans and that don't see. When you're in the locker room, you don't talk any of that nonsense. You
No,
don't talk contract. You don't talk.
You don't know
money.
what other people are going through.
No, you just don't. But when you're looking back on it now, it's like, all right, just say, we're rating players out of 10.
Yep.
And we're 10. I got signed in as say a 6.
Yep.
As a 7. So I didn't know anything about it there. You put your trust in the negotiations, and you just, you don't ask questions. You just like, yep. And so that all came about there, and then, 20 Bills, mate, we didn't know how to handle it, and Craig and the senior players all called us in and was like, it is what it is, boys. We can't take it back. We lost our points, but, what we can do is really mess with other teams.
100%. I think you did.
Yeah, really mess with other teams and make some other teams can miss out.
How was that year? Because I think you played Parramatta that week, wasn't it? Or did you play? Because you said you were injured.
No, mate, I can't remember.
Oh, because I was going to say, what was the reception like when you first come back out to play?
Oh,
from the
that
fans?
year was never good. It's like,
Yeah.
Still being called cheats and,
Yeah.
all that their stuff. So, it was, but again, it's the culture of any club. If you stick together strong, well, then none of that stuff even matters.
The biggest thing I remember from that was when you all walked from the other side of the field for that one press conference behind Craig. Bit of solidarity with everyone.
Yeah, well, Craig was like, I'm going out here, and then we as a collective said, no, we're walking with you. Like, it's not just you.
I mean, that's the culture that...
Yeah, so not just you. It's just ain't relying on you because Craig didn't know.
Yeah.
Nobody knew.
Just the whole... Yeah, that's fair enough. And then, so obviously when that salary cap stuff happens, Greggy, there's going to be some pieces of the puzzle that are going to have to move on. Did you think you would be the one of them?
I asked.
Oh, you asked, did you? Is that how it came about?
Yeah, I asked, and I asked this, this is a chance to go back up to Brizzy and play with the Broncos, and, I asked, can I leave? And we just finished playing the Bulldogs in Adelaide at the time. I went and seen Frank. It's like, Frank Panisi.
Yep, he's the
mate. He's a legend. He's
footy,
awesome.
He's a
football
manager.
Yeah, he pretty much runs the show. He's Craig's right hand man. And mate, I said, "Oh, Frank, can you go tell Craig that I want to leave?" He goes, "Oh, no, GI." He goes, "That's on you, buddy." I was like, "Oh shit!" We just had a good win, so I didn't want to, you know. Anyway, so called him in. This is like Craig was, mate. He was. I don't know. He was like telling bad news to your old man or your loved ones. Yeah, he was like just head down, and I don't think he believed it. And we sort of just kept catching up and having chats throughout it. And it was like, all right. I don't think he signed the transfer papers.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think he did.
Wow.
I don't think he still has.
So it's just
it's
like him losing a son.
Yeah, it was a big decision. It was a massive decision.
And how old were you at this time, Greg?
2010, what's that, 17 years ago, 22, 23.
So you'd been with him for 5 years already.
And
he'd bring you, 16, sorry. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. So
Well, I first came across him when I was 16, so.
Definitely would be like losing a son.
Yeah, mate, and beauty about it, it's like he still rings me up, and when I was going through all my struggles, he was, ringing my partner up at least and checking in with me.
I love hearing that.
And Frankie, so, yeah, mate, he was, Still invites me down there, like a couple of home games that they got. Well,
the good thing about that is, what I love hearing about that is that they don't just love you as a player, they love you as a person from the Storm. But then you just spoke about Broncos. So you signed with the Broncos. But then there wasn't...
there was no paperwork.
No paperwork, wasn't it?
No paperwork.
So
Again, it was agreed.
Agreed. But then before that, wasn't there like a lot of AFL teams chasing you?
Yeah, so we had AFL, NFL, and I almost stayed in Melbourne because I loved the culture so much
Yep.
that I almost signed with Essendon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, went there with James Herbert was the coach at the time, and
Yep.
I went in there and they were like, "Oh yeah, we'll play. How much you weighing now?" And just say I was weighing. I think that was the first time I actually, got to 105,
Yep.
106. So, mate, I was 80 odd kilos when I first came in. So getting
Big string beans.
getting the triple figure, now I can't get past triple figures, can't get lower. Yeah, and they go, all right, we'll trim you down to 85. I was like, mate, I'm not doing that, 85, 90. It's like running, too much running, man.
Oh, mate. So did you ever do any like training with the AFL or like just?
No, we did.
Yep.
Like every now and then we'll do a mixed skill sessions with an AFL club, or we'll get a couple of AFL players that come in and do a bit of work with our kickers and
Yep.
and work with our backs with our catching skills. So no, it was my AFL didn't interest me until I actually went to live down there,
Oh,
and I
really?
still couldn't get my head wrapped around the game
Yeah.
probably for the first couple of months.
Yep.
And I went and watched the game. I had a couple of friends in that was playing for St Kilda at the time, the Clark brothers.
Yep.
And I went there and watched them.
It's,
I was
it's
like,
a better
mate,
game
this is
live,
unreal.
eh? Yeah.
I was like, man, this is unreal. But if you're an athlete or you play sport, you would admire the amount of work that AFL players do.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you'll
They
sit
don't
back.
stop
If you
running.
ever done sport or anything to do with sport, you'll sit back and you just admire their, their
100%.
skill, their athleticism, and yeah. So, mate, that just opened my eyes up, and then I was started going to more games.
And you said NFL as well.
The NFL. So we had the Giants. We had the Giants at the time. We had Houston.
Yep.
I'm
Was that for like what sort of a role with them, or just
not sure.
not sure?
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. I think they just wanted me in there. I think it was a running back or wide receiver.
Okay. Yep.
And
Didn't know the game.
American sport doesn't interest
Yeah,
me.
fair
I
enough.
just don't. Yeah,
Yep.
I can't gravitate to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, NFL. I was like,
Yeah.
I couldn't be bothered.
You got to be into it, but if you want to,
Yeah, you got to be like really into it, and I wasn't.
I only watch a game here and there. I don't know the rules, man. There's so many rules. I see flags getting thrown.
Mate, I wouldn't have a clue. I was watching something actually a few days ago. It might have been yesterday, and it's like an NFL thing came up, and so NFL one call, just a one call. You know how many words they use
Oh, mate.
just for one call?
What? How many?
It was like ridiculous. It was like it's like Charlie White over Inglis and Aaron Woods, and then into the footy talk and everything, just with the route left. Mate, that's it.
And they
Swear to
stand
God.
there with the microphone.
Yeah,
like
they
that.
sit there like this, covering over. Mate, I saw this and I was like, holy hell.
mate.
So their playbook must be ridiculous.
Oh, man, they reckon. I remember talking to Val about it. It was
Yeah.
like that thick, and that was just his position. Like, it wasn't the quarterback or everyone else. So,
Nah, stuff that.
and
So
then,
you got to live it.
oh,
Right?
mate, you got to live or breathe, don't you?
Yeah.
So the Brisbane, you just agreed. So, because all the talk was you're going to Broncos.
Yeah. I was sitting up there and I was just at Brisbane Airport. And JT rings me up.
Yeah.
Asked me to go to Cows.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, he
Yep.
goes, I want you to come up here and play 5'8". I was like, who's your trainer? He goes, Billy Johnson. I was like, no chance. I was like, nah.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. But no, it was, Cows, JT rang me up and said, will you come for a meeting? And I was like, doesn't interest me, but thanks. And Broncos was the only one at the time that was really, really the club I would go to. And then Anthony Mundine rings me up and says, come down here to South and have a look around.
Really?
I was like, mate, I'm like, I don't like Sydney.
Yeah.
I don't want to come to Sydney. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't want to be around this area. And then he goes, all right, Russell's got to ring you up. Mate, I hung up on Russell twice.
Really?
Yeah, because I thought it was some idiot putting a voice on.
Oh, so you thought it was just like some
Private number, and it was like, all right.
Oh,
Then
man.
Chock rings me back and goes, bruh, you got to answer this call, bruh. It's Russell, I'll
Oh,
tell you,
joking.
bruh. I was like, all right. And I was like, hey. And he's like, mate, I want to fly you down. I want to show you around. I'll put you up at a hotel and, talk to you about South and my involvement.
Yep.
And what got me over the line is not only his vision, but his passion for the community.
Mm-hmm.
Russell's passion for the community, and now he wanted to change, I would say, the identity of South Sydney, but always keeping the history, like the
So what was it
working
at that
class.
time? What was it? Why did he want to change it so much? Was it a bit Because they weren't that as strong of a side at that time, were they?
No, well, yeah, 20. So I got there in the 2010,
Yep.
and
So he's just signed Sam at that period, wasn't it?
Sam signed the
Yep.
the year before.
Yep.
So he signed Sam and signed a couple other like players, like Roy was there.
Yeah, Roy
Was there, and so he wanted to bring in really strong figures of the game.
Yep.
And he done it well.
Mm-hmm.
He done it well.
Yeah.
So that and him talking about it's just his passion for the community.
Yep.
This is the community based and fan based club.
Yep.
And yeah, so he sold that there to me, and then he started talking about the footy side of it, and I was like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
And Johnny Lang was my coach at the time.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then so how did that you've agreed to the Broncos? How did was that hard telling them no? I'm not going there now. I'm going back to South. I'm going to South.
No,
sorry.
it wasn't hard. It was probably more harder on my partner at the time, my ex-wife.
Yep.
So, she was a busy girl and being back home, and it was probably more harder on her.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, it's probably the hardest one with the family chat, isn't it?
Yeah. It always is.
It always is, isn't it?
Mate, because what you get is you're holding them closest, right?
Yep.
They're the ones that you're like, oh, well. And then, came down in and actually put pen to paper.
And then you're a proud Indigenous man. It's a huge, backing of South Sydney, Indigenous culture down there. How was it when you first settled in at South Sydney?
It wasn't easy
Yeah.
because I just came off hip surgery and knee surgery at the same time. So I was going through those talks. So I had a good 3 months off. Mate, I was in a good paddock. And I was going through a goth phase. I had bloody stretched earrings in and my labret. And
then you have the old nipple piercing.
Yeah, still got it. And then, mate, I was like, I look back on it, I was like, what the hell was I thinking? What's going on here? And then, mate, it was, and I'll get myself back into shape, and it's just, but it took me a while to find my feet here in Sydney.
Yeah, I was going to say, you didn't like Sydney. What was it like when you first come down? Because it's a pretty big place you haven't been before.
Yeah, it is a big place. It's a big place, but it's a small place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just found out, when I got here, it's like, all right, well, I know the Shire crew don't come over the east. The east don't travel to Manly.
That's true.
Nobody goes over the bridge.
No. Mate, you've summed it up in 3 sentences.
And mate, I'm just like, oh crap, this is actually surreal. And then the guys like from the eastern suburbs, they don't travel over to Anzac. It's like city and that's it.
No, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, it was like so. But yeah, I'm like a creature of habit. I like my little spots, all that stuff. So lived in North Bondi, moved from North Bondi in the Coogee, and then really found myself there in Coogee.
Yeah, it's a great spot.
Just walking down the cafe, and I think, but every time it was coming south in Roosters, it was always a bit of a turf war.
Yeah, it would have been, wouldn't it? Yeah.
But it was good. Like I seen Jakey Friend down there at the cafes and a couple of Roosters boys, and again, you just go and say hello and
that's it.
Sit there and have a coffee with them or whatever. I never saw that there shit, and then.
When you cross the white line, that's when you got to play for South. They play for the Jooks.
Yeah, and then that's what I was. So found myself there, and then ended up moving down to Little Bay.
Your Little Bay?
Yeah, went down there.
You were close to one of Triple M's very own Anthony Maroon
down there. Seen him down there.
Did you see him much?
Bit. Yeah, saw him down there a little bit.
Mate, he would have loved seeing you.
I loved Little Bay. It was good.
Yeah. And then talk
us about a bit more quiet.
2014 season. How different was that compared to you?
Mate, we should have won it the year before.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got knocked out in the prelim, didn't you?
Yeah, mate, we was up.
Yeah.
And then I think Rene got injured and sort of lost our way a bit.
Yep.
But yeah, it was just one of those seasons again where everything was just going right, and we had this belief. It's like there's nothing that's going to stop us from getting to what we can do.
Because I spoke to Adam Reynolds before. He said the same thing. You should have won 2013, but then going to 14, it just gave you that extra bit of...
Yeah.
Like, we missed that opportunity. The Chooks knocked us out. But he reckons that whole season just felt like you were
invincible. It was just different.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just felt like nothing could stop us.
And even in the grand final, like, it was close for, 50, 60
Yeah, well,
minutes.
It went all the way up to like 65 minutes.
Yeah.
And we only ran away with it to the end.
Yeah. And you won a couple of competitions yourself, mate. Where would that rate?
But that was the most emotional one.
Yep.
Yeah. I was
Why is
emotionally drained. I don't know, maybe because I was younger when I got the earlier ones, and I played in 4 grand finals in a row.
Yep.
And by coming out the back of that there, and I think with South, it was everyone's talking about this drought. Everyone's and the fans and the community is just riding this wave with you. And I just had my baby boy that year too, Nate, and it was just emotionally taxing on me.
Yep.
After the game, I just sat there, and just wow,
how good.
yeah. And we went back to South Juniors, and I only stayed there for like an hour or 2.
Oh, really?
I went home. Yeah,
Oh, just that taxing.
I didn't leave it.
Wow.
Yeah, I left my parents there.
Oh,
I
really?
left my parents there. Oh, I went home, mate. I went home, and then the next day, you get up and do your stuff what you have to, and I caught up with the boys.
Yep.
And again, I only stayed there for a few hours. And then Tuesday we had, Wednesday was our fan day and our big day.
Yep.
But I was going in and out. I was
Yeah.
just like catch up with the boys, going home, catch up with the boys. Yeah,
Oh,
Mate,
that's
it was-
crazy, eh?
yeah.
And then
I think Samuel was still in hospital around this time.
With
And
his
then he
face,
came out. Yeah, but no, mate, it was emotionally draining for me.
yep.
Yeah.
So, one thing I'd love to know, like obviously you've got the grand finals. What year was it when you did the ACL round 1?
I think that was 17.
Because that was you played against us,
Yeah,
remember?
yeah.
And I never forget it.
I
Like,
just came down and I was just on a kick chase and I was just chasing Teddy.
yeah.
And then as Teddy stepped, I stepped with him and then bang, gone.
And you've never had an injury like that before?
Never.
Never.
That was
Because you stayed on for a while. You
mate,
stayed on until half time.
I went off in the 67th minute.
Yeah, because
I did in the
remember,
first 3 minutes.
remember you scored that try, and I was like,
I was livid.
"Far out, mate."
Yeah. I don't know what I was doing.
And I remember there was one time when we knew you were busted, and like we tried to just help you down to the ground.
Oh,
I was like,
mate.
mate, normally if Greggy's fully fit, you're getting horsed here.
Mate.
And there was one where I was like, "Far, mate, look after that knee."
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, I had no MCL or PCL.
Already?
It was already worn thin
Yep.
and crap like that. So when they were doing the adjustments, when Eddie Farrell was doing the adjustments,
Yep.
he really had nothing. So it was just normal.
Yep, yeah.
And then half time came around, took the tape off, no swelling, no nothing.
So you just thought,
Yeah. And then after a while, in the second half, I was like,
I can't move.
I can't move, man.
Yeah.
It's like, can't do simple tests. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
I'm gone. So, mate, as soon as I took it off, the second strapping, second part of the strapping, it was bang, just,
you just knew.
just
Yep.
gone.
Talk to us about that year. How hard was that? Like, because that's
Oh, it was
round
horrible.
1. You missed Origin. You missed the opportunity.
Well, I never had it. I never had a season-ending injury before. It was always just a couple of
Yep.
niggles or, mid-season clean-outs, but back in 3 weeks. So doing that ACL, just like, all right, you got, what, 6 or 7 months before you can actually, like, start doing a couple of little things. And I was like, yeah, not a worry. But it got to that 6-7 months mark and I'll do something, then I'll just go back. Like, I'll just go back a little bit at 3 stages.
Oh,
So
really?
you jump in,
So just
go
wouldn't
stage
improve.
5 and come back to stage 3. But
Yep.
I didn't know any of this. And S&C coach and Farah and all that there was saying, this is what happens. It takes time.
Yep.
And I didn't know because I always wanted to,
Just be
keep
quick.
pushing it, kept
Mm.
pushing. And I was like, and then it just kept getting to me. It was like, because I wanted to get back towards the end of the year.
Yep.
And I was like, this is shit.
Yeah.
And it's not, it's not great if you're ever injured
Nah.
and you're going in there doing the same thing, especially when you can't, run or do anything. So I ended up taking up gymnastics a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, mate. Cam Murray came down with me sometimes.
Yep.
Adam Dewey was there at
Yeah,
the
yep.
time. So, mate, we had a little gymnastics crew. It was pretty cool.
Did you ever speak to Adam Dewey in the last 12 months? Because he
Mate, I caught up with him when I was in pre-season.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. He looked like he was in a really good headspace. So,
Yeah. He's done so well.
yeah.
So happy for him, man.
He's going. Yeah, he's going really good, and getting back and after 3 ACLs, and before he first came back in Campbelltown,
it was good to see.
he held
Wasn't
it.
it?
Yeah, it was really good to see him.
He was on fire. And then, so obviously, when your knee does recover, you get back in 2018, and then you captain Queensland.
Yeah.
Like, was that one of the biggest achievements you've had in your career?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. because you don't do it for those things. You know, you play the game and, you
Yep.
know, you just play the way you play and want to
Mhm.
carry yourself off the field as well. So
Yep.
when Kevy came to me and asked me, he was like, well, you rang me up. We just played the Cowboys then, and we had a few days off afterwards. And so I rang up me good mate, Lockie Hitcho, and we had another friend up there at the time, Floyd. And I said, all right, boys, I'm going to stay up here. Let's just catch up, have a few beers. And so we went over to Maggie Island, spent the day over in Maggie Island. And I said, oh, boys, I just got a phone call from Kevy and told him the news and that. So,
Oh, how good's that?
yeah, that was pretty much the second people to know besides the family and that.
Oh, beautiful.
I was like, oh, mate, I couldn't. Sun was shining.
Oh, mate.
Mate, it was like one of the
Couldn't
best
knock the
days.
big man.
Yeah, nothing could bring me down that day. And when was in Maggie Island, we ended up going out in this tube.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, mate, it was hilarious. It was
Good fun.
It was just a good day. So I remember the day well when Kevin
Oh,
told me.
and you know, how was it when you got to run out and lead the Maroons out there?
Yeah,
First
mate,
time?
it was surreal.
Yep.
You know, because you go back and you think about all the other great, captains.
Yep.
You know, of the side, but it was also had a big responsibility. But I wanted to be a leader, not like them, but in my own right.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just
I think you did that night. You
just
spoke
go
about
there and
your-
just play a game.
You spoke about you love the physicality at rep level. I think Tommy Turbo is still hurting. It's one of the biggest things I've ever seen.
Oh, mate, it was yeah. I just love the physicality of it.
Yep.
It's just really good.
And then obviously, so 2019, you retire. Was there ever a thought in your mind that you were going to retire through injury?
Yeah, it was coming through. No, it wasn't through injury. I
Well,
didn't
yeah, sorry, you
retire.
didn't retire through injury,
Nah, I didn't retire through injury. I always said to myself, once I fall out of love with the game, I'm not going to play the game
So
anymore.
that's why you retired in the end.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was, mate, I just got tired of, the conversation started happening in pre-season
Yep.
that year. And yeah, I was just like, I'm training busted. I'm training, and then after training, putting ice on me.
Yep.
And just doing that, and then sometimes I couldn't. Some days I'll just go and I wouldn't be able to train.
Yep.
So it was like, oh well, I can't be a leader or be a captain, and I can't really train. I can't be out there with the boys, and then so that's what happened. And yeah, I just fell in love with the game.
So and then just what did you do when you first made that decision? Who'd you ring?
Well, I had long chats with my dad
Yep.
over it, and went and seen. So I had a chat with the family and that first, and then I went and seen Wayne.
Yep.
Wayne as well.
Mhm.
He goes, all right, just make sure you're content. And then
Yep.
about a couple of weeks later, and that I went and he called me in his office and another chat to him. He goes, yeah, you seem like you're at peace with it.
You're happy with where you're
Yeah.
at. Yeah.
And Richo as well, Shane Richardson.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when you make that decision, what do you do when you first get away from rugby league? Do you still try hang around the boys or just?
Well, at the time I went straight into like in the South Cares,
Yep.
in the community side of it. So went straight into that. But yeah, you try and stick around and still want to be a part of it, but you also don't want to be a spare dick, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Understand with the boys.
yeah,
It's
and the
hard.
boys is actually questions, and you go watch training out there, and also, like I said before, it's like the pathway side of it. So
Yeah.
I was doing pathways as well. I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
coming in doing first grade and then doing a bit of work with South grade,
Yep.
with South Cares, and then I'll go in the afternoon to do Harold Matts and SG Ball.
And then so you had that year off, right? How does it come around by signing with Warrington? How did that all come about?
COVID
COVID.
hit.
Yeah.
COVID hit, and I was having a good chat with having a really good chat with Jason Clark at the time. I was
Oh,
like,
yep.
mate, how's it over there? Come over and visit you, rah, rah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, one night I was sitting at home and I was like, what do you reckon? I got one more in me in Warrington. He was like, Clarky just got the ball moving. And 3 days later,
So it was Jason Clark that started it all?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How'd you enjoy your time over there?
mate, well, I only ended up playing a few games and ended up doing both my hamstrings. So
Oh,
Don't go over there when you're 36. I'll tell you that. Don't go over there when you're 35, 36. Go over earlier.
Yeah.
Go over earlier, mate. It's an incredible competition. Like I know it's not up to NRL standards, but they have really good, high quality players over there.
And the club was Warrington,
Yeah,
wasn't it? Yeah. It was a
yeah.
good club
Mate, I loved
too.
it over there.
Yeah.
I loved my time. You know,
Do you wish you had went over there a bit earlier?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely,
That's crazy.
absolutely. I do. I wish I went over there like early 30s or late 20s.
Yeah, yep.
You know, so around that there mark. But yeah, if I was in a situation where I never had a club or just like sort of on that fringes, I would have went over there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Just loved it over there.
I don't think you'd ever have the.
Never had that happen.
You're always
mate.
pretty lucky.
Mate, I love my time over there.
Yeah.
You know, we're looking to head back over there and spend about 6 weeks over there with
Oh, okay.
a couple of old friends and that we made over there. So
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say. A lot of the blokes that do play over there, they tend to go back there a fair bit because of the relationships
yeah, you
they've
just
made.
build good relationships with the players.
The Pommy people are the best.
Mate, it's unreal. Like there's a guy called Mike Lomax who's on the board as a director, and mate, he really makes the foreigners that go there and play welcome.
Oh, okay.
New players at the club welcome.
And you'd also have that connection with Sammy, the coach there now. Yeah.
I wouldn't. Mate, if he rang me and asked to go and coach, I was like, I'll come over all days, but I won't coach.
You got no aspirations of being a coach?
None whatsoever. I'm more the guy that sits in the background or works under somebody else. So.
Just stick to the Goanna Academy.
Just stick to what
and then
I'm
you're
doing.
doing some work with the Queensland women's side?
Yeah, so I got involved with them this year and was working on the coaching staff there, and I was just coming in at the back end and get in there and just sit there and watch training and just help out with them. So
Oh, that's unreal.
mate, I loved it.
Just love being around it, don't you?
Yeah, I just loved that. It was so good because the women made history.
Yeah.
Going into 3 games. What better way to finish off in a decider in the first year? It was unreal.
That was so good. You needed that for 3 games too.
Mate, it was so good.
And one of the other things I want to say to you, we interviewed Gordon Tallis here a while back, and the ultimate respect for yourself was he said that a team of 13 GIs would beat a team of 13 anyone. Mate, and that's coming from the Raging Bull.
Yeah, I don't think that.
Oh, please, mate. That's coming from one of the toughest and hardest men in rugby league, and to honour you with a bit of respect like that, that's pretty crazy, mate.
Yeah, Gordy was our defensive coach at South. Langy got him in when I got there.
Oh, yeah.
Mate, he was... The way he played the game is the way he trained. Like, he didn't care.
So he was still the same at training?
Pissed the pads off. Was like, you're going to hit your shoulders, hit the shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was coming, well, what are you going to do on the field? What are you going to do on the field?
He reckons he used to love trying to take on Dave Taylor.
Yeah, always, all the time, man. All the time.
Mate.
He was like, Raging Bull used to go out and probably look at the biggest guy and just picks him out.
So he just loved it.
Mate, he did, yeah. What he's saying is true.
Good fun, eh?
Yeah.
And then, so what's in store for GI? Still going to stick around and do the women's game?
Yeah, no, I'll still stick around. Pretty much where my passion is now is probably around the women's game and wanting to grow that.
Yep.
They established them quite, really well, and they just play the game.
Yep.
It's
Isn't it refreshing when you say something to them to actually listen and want to get better?
Yeah, it's mate, it's just rewarding. Like that's where my passion lies in now.
Yep.
Is around NRLW.
Yep. Oh,
Yep.
that's unreal. Well, if there's a better ambassador for it than yourself.
Mate, it's just really like it's refreshing, it's good, and it's just different.
Ah, beautiful.
So it's awesome.
Ah, well, mate, Greg, you can't thank you enough for coming on today.
All good,
Woodsy's
buddy.
Footy Club tour, mate. I'm sure
Footy
we'll try
Club
to get you
tour,
again.
I like
That's
it.
Yeah, that's it, brother. And you've been a couple. Thanks, legend.
All right, brother.
Thanks, mate.